All right, let's talk Jalen Hurts here in a very weird Philadelphia Eagles victory. Listen, they got the win, which ultimately that's what matters. They're 7-2. It's a good team victory. But let's also talk about kind of what went wrong with this offense that, has had some of these games this season. Again, they're coming off a 38-point performance the previous week, so they've had those games too. But let's talk about what went wrong early on, but also the big plays they made when it mattered most to ultimately walk away from this one still victorious. So first, I thought Hurts put the ball in harm's way more than you like to see from him early on. Got away with a couple. This one, designed rollout towards the top of the screen. Hurts takes a snap, is going to go in that direction. You have a tight end who's going to, this is one of his routes, right? Kind of get into a gap in coverage over here. The issue with this play, Quay Walker is kind of getting in position. And to be honest, I just don't think Hurts sees this, because if Quay Walker reads this play properly is hard to say, because he's kind of reading it properly. But if he gets all the way in the perfect position to get in front of the tight end, this is an interception if Hurts decides to make this throw. Ultimately, Walker kind of overruns it. Again, if he looks for the receiver, that's probably an interception. I think Hurts might have thrown a no-look pass on that one, which is maybe there's a reason why you usually look while you're passing, because that could have gone wrong, although maybe the no-look also drew Quay Walker off. Listen, it worked out, right? Probably not the play you want to see your quarterback making for just an 8-yard gain. Also, this one where it's going to be a 3rd down and 2 situation. You have a route just trying to get into a gap and cover. Again, just underneath 3rd down and 2, so you don't need a ton of yards. Hurts takes a snap, and again, you kind of see why he wants to make this throw, especially when you're on to hash marks on that side of the field. The issue is the corner's jumping this route, and again, it's 3rd and 2. Corner knows where the boundaries is. This, honestly, if this is on target, this is a pick 6. Hurts threw it a little bit earlier, though, than his receiver was running the route. Maybe that was a communication thing, but that saves them. If that's on target, that's a pick 6 the other way. Again, I think Hurts might have thought that, I think the receiver might have ran it about a yard further down the field, which maybe means that Hurts, knew that the corner wouldn't get to where he was trying to throw it to. But either way, dangerous play there. And then, of course, the one that actually was a turnover. This one, 3rd down and 8 on this play. Hurts takes a snap. Clever play design where he's going to scramble up. It's a design quarterback. It's quarterback draw here. Big fan of the quarterback draw. They tend to work. I will say, though, kind of not the ideal blocking in just running right here. You kind of would like to get past this player and then fall forward past the 1st down marker. The real issue of this from Hurts, though, is he takes one hand off the ball, which just you don't want to do, especially as a quarterback. Bad things can happen if you do this. Watch as another player ends up running in and punches the ball out. Great defensive play, but ultimately, again, got to protect the football. That's what the Eagles are known for, and I didn't think Hurts did a great job early on. He definitely stopped making those mistakes later on, but that was part of an issue. Also heading over to this play, there were just a couple of plays too where it's like the Eagles had some opportunities and just weren't able to link up on them. So this, there's 16 seconds left in the half. So, not expecting a ton right here, but they're going for it. It's a play on tape, right? You have Smith running a route trying to get kind of underneath the corner who's going to be covering deep. Hurts takes the snap. This is open. This is an opportunity to get, on the right side of the 50-yard line with around 10 seconds left. You get one more play to see if you can get in field goal range, right? Except this throw is just a little bit off, and Smith can't quite make the grab there. Again, how much of that was them, thinking the route would be a little bit differently. Ultimately, though, again, you execute that play properly. That gives you a chance for points. There was also this play where it's going to be a cover 2 zone concept on this one, and you have it's your backup tight end running a route trying to get into a gap in coverage. Hurts takes the snap, and this is going to get open. Look at this. Hurts makes the throw, and it's just a bit off. Again, I don't think that's a touchdown if it's complete, but it's getting you close to a touchdown, have a real shot at that. So that's also, some missed opportunities here for Philadelphia. So, not great. And another thing is just the running game continues to struggle. Only 2.7 yards per carry on 22 carries for Saquon Barkley. So he got a lot of opportunities in this game. But, this was an example where Hurts takes a snap, and the second he does, you have multiple Green Bay players in the backfield. Not saying to happen on every play, but just because there were a lot of carries doesn't mean there were actually a lot of opportunities, I guess, for Saquon, because what are you supposed to do on that play? So Part of that was Lane Johnson was out for a good chunk of this game. That definitely played a role. But, even when Lane Johnson's been out there, they have not been able to run block for Saquon the way they were able to last year. Although now let's go over here, because all that being said, the Eagles won this game. And the Eagles did not win this game with a defensive score 7-0. They scored 10 points. How did they end up getting those points? Well, again, they had some plays going early on, not a lot, but they were able to hit, on some of these passes early on. But really, in a key spot here, 3rd down and 7, this was the drive of the game. In a game they won by 3 points, you have, on this one, Jalen Hurts takes a snap, looks down the field, and doesn't love what he sees, but I think the Packers just blowed his coverage. Someone was supposed to cover Saquon Barkley. Nobody is. The player who's rushing up, he was covering A.J. Brown on this play. And this is one of the things I like about Jalen Hurts, is we see a lot of quarterbacks in today's NFL try and play hero ball, right? Where nothing's open down the field, but now let me scramble and, or maybe try to force it there anyway. Hurts isn't afraid to just give it to a running back and let the running back try and make a play. Saquon's going to run up, but you have a guy who can come in and make a tackle for Green Bay, and given where they are, okay, if it's 4th and 1, they'll push, but if it's 4th and 2, they're punting. So that's part of the math in your head. If you're a defensive back running up, trying to make a tackle on Saquon Barkley, usually you'd like to kind of stay a little bit back and just kind of let him come to you and tackle him that way. Can't do that here, though. So watch, comes up and Saquon Barkley, just the spin move, jukes him out, does some good work later on as well. Ultimately gets them inside the 40. Helps set up what would happen just shortly after. Really good play there by Saquon Barkley. So he's still explosive. It's, the running stats are not his fault. And then this one a little bit later on, 1st down 10. It's actually the very next play. They say, you know what? We already had one big play. Let's try for another. It's Devonta Smith going up. I believe this is quarters coverage, but what can often happen in these situations, it's if you can isolate a one-on-one matchup, good things can happen. Smith takes the snap, Hurts takes the snap, looks towards Smith, only one guy covering him down the field, and this is just basically, hey, I trust my guy to win this one-on-one situation with the game on the line. Now, I will say, ideally you want this throw to be towards, further down the field. Hurts is going to underthrow this a bit, and again, it's one of those things, too, where, so I don't know exactly how the weather has been in Green Bay, for previous days. It was in the 20s here. I believe in Philadelphia, it's actually been a little bit warmer. It's been kind of in the 50s during the day. So because of that, that's what they're practicing in. It's still a bit of an adjustment to go, your first cold weather game to kind of deal with this. They haven't been practicing it. Maybe that's just an excuse. Ultimately, though, this isn't going to be a perfect throw. But Devonta Smith makes it work, is able to go up and make the grab, gets into the end zone for a touchdown. Really good stuff by Devonta Smith. And ultimately, the Philadelphia Eagles do enough offensively. And listen, when your defense only gives up 7, you don't need to be perfect offensively. You just need to, well, in this situation, give up score 10. And that's what they were able to do. So, impressive stuff at the end of the day, finding a way to get the victory. But I think that Philadelphia Eagles fans will also say, if this is the offense in the playoffs, they're going to be in trouble. If this is the offense against Detroit next week, I don't know if that's going to be enough. They're going to have to get more consistent to pull that off. But again, a win is a win. They're 7-2. If they can beat Detroit, they have a really good chance to get the 1 seed, because they still play Buffalo and the Chargers, so those are tough games, but they're going to be heavy favorites in every other game they play this season. So, Eagles have a really good shot at the 1 seed, and they've beaten a lot of the other top teams in the conference at this point. Again, the Lions, that feels like the biggest hurdle next week. You still have the Seahawks and Rams in the mix, although they have beaten the Rams, so it should be interesting. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Philadelphia and how they played. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.